Hey friends, Peggy Hall back with you from thehealthyamerican.org. I'm sure by now you've heard of Los Angeles's plan for Smart LA. That's what we're talking about. Let me take you on over. And this actually is the download. It is Smart LA 2028. What a coinky dink! Right in time for the 2028 Olympics. Now, this is all about technology for a better Los Angeles. Yes, we keep hearing that phrase better, build back better, build back faster, build back stronger. I call it burn back better. Now, I will leave a link for you all about this Smart LA 2028. There are 5 major initiatives that this plan covers, and they have to do with technology. Now, this is related but different than the 15-minute cities. If you're not sure what a 15-minute city is, it's exactly what it sounds like. The New World Disorder, as I call it, wants you to be able to walk or bicycle or maybe just stay home and have things delivered to you. So you would be able to live your life within a 15-minute radius. Now, you may think that is fantastic. You may already live in an area that could be considered a smart city if you're in a big city, for example. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that unless that is imposed and required of you. So if this is voluntary and you have the right for free movement, then that's up to you if you want to live across the street from your grocery store and all of that stuff. I'm sure that there are a lot of conveniences. What I am opposed to is the idea of the evil doers wiping out wide swaths of the communities in order to burn back better, or as they call it, build back better. Or in the case of Gruesome Newsom, he says to rebuild stronger, faster and stronger. And apparently that means better. And I take issue with that because I'm sure the people who lost their homes don't believe that what's going to come next is going to be better because they lost everything that they had. So in this broadcast, we're going to be talking about the smart city and the technology and all of that. In an upcoming broadcast, I'll talk about the 15-minute cities and how those are more closely aligned with the United Nations Sustainable Goals. Number 11, yes, 11, has to do with human settlements. In other words, there are too many people and the cities are getting too big, and we need to take care of the resources and the housing. And again, you may agree with some of those points. And I would agree with some of them as long as it's not at the expense of someone else, their livelihood, and their own freedom. So what I'm going to do is actually break down for you these 5 initiatives that have to do with the LA Smart City. And what I'm looking at, in fact, I'll share my screen again, and I'll leave a link for you in my Substack, which is peggyhall.substack.com. And this is State Tech, and they have a summary. This was written in 2021, and I think it's a well done summary. So I'm going to read that to you. And again, you can have access to that in my Substack. I'm grateful for all of you that have subscribed. It's absolutely free. Please resubscribe to this channel as well. And I've got a Los Angeles fires playlist if you want to watch my coverage where I break down things, all of these anomalies like trash cans not melting and trees not burning, yet cars incinerated. I'm going to be bringing you upcoming coverage breaking down more of these video clips, such as Biden actually saying the quiet part out loud about saying that this looks like it was an intentional attack and bringing up some of these issues. Now, I believe that's a type of controlled opposition so that we, the people, can say, aha, even Biden knows what's going on. Friends, this is all scripted, right down to those so-called celebrities, in my opinion, many of them, maybe not all, that are coming on the screen to thank the heroes and the first responders. And there probably are wonderful first responders that did incredible jobs. But what I'm hearing is a narrative that is being pushed over and over again so that we are distracted from what I believe is the truth of the matter, that these are intentional attacks upon the population. And even if you don't agree with me there, you've got to agree that the way that it's been handled, and it's ongoing as of right now. I'm filming this on Wednesday, January 15th, 2025, I have one of my Chinese friends said, Peggy, I can't believe what's going on in LA. If this had happened in China, we would have the whole army out there working to put these fires out. And all I could do is say, yes, they are allowing it to run intentionally. That's my opinion. So I've got so much coverage on this again, friends. I cannot cover every single aspect in every single video every single day. I feel like I'm at the receiving end of what usually are operative fire hoses with the amount of information that y'all are emailing me. And I'm so grateful that support at thehealthyamerican.org. And I am doing my best to sift through all of the information. And I will be continuing this fire coverage so that we can be educated and not let the evil doers pull the wool over our eyes. All right, let's talk about how Los Angeles plans to become a smarter city by the 2028 Olympics. So this is a smart city roadmap that was released. Again, I'll have a link for you in my Substack. And this is envisioning a highly digital and connected future. So the city of Los Angeles has Olympic level ambitions for its development as a smart city over the next several years. The city, which is set to host the 2028 Summer Olympics. Remember, I showed you that logo, which looks so bizarre, like dripping blood. And it also has that Freemasonry symbolism, like the compass and square. If you're new to that, you can do an internet search about the Freemasons, the secret society that probably is another puppet in the whole line of evil, the evil puppets. There's who knows where it ends at the top, which is evil incarnate. Let me continue. Okay. LA is going to host the 2028 Olympics, and they released this smart city blueprint that outlines how it plans to evolve and become a more connected and equitable city in time for the games. And this plan envisions a city that is easy to get around without a car via a unified digital payment platform. Are you reading between the lines here, friends? For metro rail, buses, bikes, and shuttles. Now, I brought up in one of my previous videos, imagine if this was in place and you went along with their New World disorder and you said, you know what? I don't want to have a car either. I'm just going to have my bicycle and I'm going to use metro rail and buses and shuttles and maybe your own 2 feet. Well, exactly how is that going to play out for you when you are trying to evacuate this disaster? So I will link that for you at the end of this video, where you can watch my video where I share my concerns about this getting rid of people's cars, getting rid of their personal property. So this is the plan for Los Angeles. And isn't it kind of convenient that now the slate has been wiped clean in many areas of Los Angeles? In an upcoming video in the coming days, I'm going to share with you the interactive fire maps. I did this back in Lahaina, where you can click through and see exactly which structures burned and which didn't. We're going to analyze why certain areas apparently were targeted and how strange it is that one house in the middle of nowhere burned down while nothing else around it did. So we'll be looking at all of that. The point being, the slate has basically been wiped clean for this, I'm going to call it infliction and imposition and intentional creation of these digital cities, getting rid of your ability for private transport. So ethical proactive technology. Have you heard that phrase before? Yes. Ethical proactive technology, because, technology, so strange. Technology will help identify fire, violence, or other risks to the health and safety of LA residents. That means more surveillance. That's what these smart cities do. And part of what they want to do, I'm getting ahead of myself, part of what they want to do is make sure that every single home has a computer and an internet connection, because I'm sure they want to make sure that every Angelino can watch cat videos on YouTube. Yes, that's exactly why they want everyone to have access to the internet, not because they would be able to spy on them or see what it is they're doing. Oh, no, of course not. So this ethical proactive technology will help identify fire, violence, or other risks to the health and safety of LA residents even before the 911 call. The city will deploy ubiquitous ultra high speed 5G connectivity across all of its environment, and it calls for the deployment of smart wayfinding kiosks and 10,000 public electric vehicle charging stations. You see, friends, California has already committed and passed laws, to my understanding, that gas-powered vehicles are going to be phased out by 2030. Well, we're in 2025. And if you think back to 2020 and all of the hogwash that was sloshed all over us, you know how quickly 5 years passes by. So they want these electric vehicles. Keep in mind, those electric vehicles can be manipulated and controlled at a distance, whereas your gas-powered vehicle cannot. Think of all of the carbon monoxide now that has been released into the air by these fires that have been burning out of control, in my view, intentionally. Yet they're going to restrict your ability to drive a gas-powered vehicle because it's bad for the environment. Yet they could care less about these fires burning. It defies logic, but then again, evil is stupid. All right. So all the public electric vehicle charging stations, of course, that's not going to put any pressure on the electrical grid now, is it? The LA Chief Information Officer, Ted Ross, says it's close enough to provide a target, but it's also far away enough to accomplish some pretty aggressive goals, he says about the plan. So the idea of electronic vehicle charging being spread across the city, that's not something you can do in a year. Well, it looks like they just fast-tracked it, doesn't it? He said it's something that in the next few years, you could be in a very solid place to receive people with electric cars. All right. So how LA plans to enhance its smart city capabilities. So there are 5 components of its smart city vision, including infrastructure, data tools, practices, digital services and applications, connectivity and digital inclusion. And then the 5th one is governance. For each of these areas, the plan identifies the city departments that will be involved in implementing specific projects. So in the infrastructure, for example, the plan identifies the lack of smart city situational awareness, meaning that people don't really know what that is, and they want to increase the awareness in the public, and the city will need to deploy entirely next generation infrastructure to support emerging demands. You know, so much of this is gobbledygook, it doesn't even make sense. I will leave this for you to read and do, on your own if you're interested. But the bigger point that I'm making is how this plan was in place. And they are going to be doing things like an LA street lighting strategic plan, including strategies for the Internet of Things sensor devices, remote monitoring, and a design for a new citywide street map. Yes, of course. And they want to incentivize fiber optic build out and adopt this Internet of Things policies. And anyway, it goes on and on. A lot of it sounds like gobbledygook, but what I'm looking at is the bigger picture. So think about it. This costs a lot of money. And now that Los Angeles is in, and the state of California is in a state of emergency, this opens the door to federal funding for their Build Back Better. Rebuild Stronger and Faster. I guess Newsom has been watching my videos, especially those about the Band-Aid governor over in Hawaii and how he kept talking about Build Back Better. I hope that you saw my video yesterday about this creepy creature's performance in the press concert. He could not contain his glee, and he had the most bizarre facial expressions and body language and gestures. I know I speak with my hands as well, but these were very strange, scripted, intentionally manipulative gestures, in my opinion. So you can watch that as well. So the point being, the governors, in my view, are high-level puppets that are put in place to oversee these disasters so that they can be in alignment with the New World Disorder and build back better burn back better with these smart cities and the 15-minute cities. I've uncovered so much research about Los Angeles going carless, and I'm going to be talking to you about that in the framework of the 15-minute cities. I'm actually going to wrap this up now, friends. Just one video for you today, and I recommend that you, if you like to watch my videos, to go back, and I'll have a couple linked here for you where you can watch the fire anomalies. You can watch the false narratives that are being pushed, meaning these are things that we're told are factual, and they may well indeed be so, like the water running out and the poor, wildlife management and the mayor being out of the country and all of this. But in my view, they are distractions so that we're not going to look at the bigger picture, which is this relentless devastation and terrorism to wear people down so that they will be more easily manipulated and willing and conditioned to accept whatever solution the government comes up with next. What say you? At the end of this week, I'm also going to be sharing your amazing messages, the emails that you've been sending me, all of your insights, and actual eyewitness accounts of the way that the fires were burning, the way that the wind was going, people that have a better knowledge than I do about microwave energy and how it works. All of that will be forthcoming. You probably are a little fatigued, have some fire fatigue as I do. So that's why I've only got one video for you today. But if you are interested, please check out my playlist. And if you want some emotional support, please look at my second channel called Living Swell with Peggy Hall. And there, we're not really talking about the fires, but we talk about our own emotional well-being and how to really keep our head above the waves in these stormy seas of life. I'm so grateful to have you on board, everyone. It's wonderful to be here with those of you that can read between the lies, that are not easily bamboozled, hoodwinked, and duped by the evil doers, by the New World disorder, by those who seek to pull us under and pull the wool over our eyes. I may not have all the answers, all of the solutions, but I do believe that it's valuable that we support each other in what we're seeing, validate and affirm and confirm that we're not going crazy. And it's the creatures that you're seeing, like these public serpents, are the ones that really need to be called on the carpet for their evil deeds. I'm going to continue in my coverage, and I'm grateful for all of you to be here as we march this all the way to heaven.